What the hell was that? I thought he was saluting because he went like that, but he was like way out here. It's like, someday I'd like a Toblerone this tall. Like, what are you doing? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and now I believe we are fully back into the swing of things. Now that we had that 3-episode buffer to get us back here. So, we come back, as we typically will be doing from now on, with notes, a board, comment. We got a comment. So, as per usual, though, I think we should start off with the board, where I've got a massive board changelog, because I also had a backlog of stuff. As I said before, I basically went back to the last 6 episodes, instead of just the 3 that we watched for my notes and board stuff. So, I've added Richard von Grimmelshausen. I connected Reinhardt and Grimmelshausen with a green line. I added Gregor von Muckenberger. I connected Gregor and Grimmelshausen with a green line. I connected Reinhardt and Gregor with a white line. I added Staden. I connected Staden and Gregor with a green line. I connected Staden and Grimmelshausen with a green line. I added Hermann von Lundberg. I connected Hermann to Reinhardt with a white line. I added Pfeiffer and connected Pfeiffer to Bocock with a green line. I added Montcharmond and connected Marchamond to Bocock with a green line. Added Sinclair Cerebus. Added Otto Frank von Wanschaffe. Connected Sinclair to Otto with a green line. Added Walter von Schunkampf. And added Casper Lintz, Rainer Blumhardt, Karl von der Decken, and I connected them all with a green line. I added Otto to Walter with a green line. I don't know why specifically I added that one green line, but it was in my note, so I just did it. I connected Hermann to Walter, Casper, Rainer, Karl, Wanschaff with a red line. I added Lady Hartenberg. I connected Lady Hartenberg to Hermann with a blue line. Marked Otto Frank von Waschoff as dead. Added Valerie Lynn Fitzsimmons, connecting her to Walter with a purple line, and then I marked her as dead. Connected Grimmelshausen to Lundberg with a green line. Connected Grimmelshausen to Frederick with a green line. Added Borodin. Marked Der Decken as dead. Connected a red line from Reinhardt to Cerebrace. Marked Cerebrace as a POW. Added Hopt. Connected him with a white line to Reinhardt. Added Ovlesser. I added Ovlesser and connected him to Lundberg with a white line. Added Mr. and Mrs. Curtius. Tied them to their son. Added Martin Buffholtz. Connected him with a green line to Siegfried, marked him as arrested, and then dead. Added Hilda and connected her to Magdalena with a green line. Added Eric von Hartenberg, connected him with a blue line to his sister and a white line to Hermann. Connected Kessler to Reinhardt and Lundberg with a white line. Connected Reinhardt to Elizabeth with a white line. Connected Grimmelshausen to Hartenberg with a green line. Connected Grimmelshausen to Kessler with a green line. Added Karl Mathis von Folgen, connected him with a purple line to Elizabeth, a red line to Hermann, and then marked him as dead. And added Klaus von Lichtendil. Sorry, sometimes I'm pronouncing the words and my brain just like shuts off and I just say things. Klaus von Lichtenlade, and connected him to the Kaiser with a green line.
Last one. Oh yeah, he was the guy who came in the last episode. It's like, have you actually read the report? Like, yeah, I read the report. Yeah, sure. Oh, it's right here. Oh, okay, never mind. Seems our emperor is a bit detached from running the entire empire. It's a bit too much for him. Yeah, that happened. I mean, so much that I don't even know where to begin with all the things that were mentioned. So Yeah, but a little bit too much for my brain right now. It's going like,
I mean, it's literally 3 hours of content that I just recited to you.
yes. So, well, there's something in my notes about the old man, which I will say in my notes.
Which one?
Which
This isn't your ordinary anime. They're all old men.
no, I'm talking about the real old man, which is Richard von Grimmenhausen.
One would argue that he's a friend of the Kaiser from childhood, therefore the Kaiser is also an old man.
Yes, very much so. But I like to say that the emperor is
You
the
can't
emperor
swing a cat and not hit somebody with wrinkles.
True. But still, when I meant the old man, I meant him, of all people.
Also, conversely, a bunch of these people that we know also are from the past. So conceivably, they're also older now.
Yes. Probably dead or captured or dead and captured or just captured. Who knows? So yeah, I'll have to go into my notes in order to try to make sense of what you just said. I'm also a bit under the weather too, so there's that. A double whammy. But with that said, I guess I have to go into notes. As we are
waiting.
Yeah. All these are from, well, you have them as 22, 23, 24, but I have them on, the episode's title. So 100 billion stars, 100 billion lights, episode 7. Not many notes here. It seems Reinhard does have a taste for the finer things in life, even if it's just a matter of his wines. The funny part of this opening scene is that when we're discussing the possibility of Reinhard finding a wife, they both stare at each other, him and Kirchheis, unblinking. This scene alone must have launched a million Yuri fanfics of Reinhard Kirchheis. Looking at Kirchheis through the glass just adds to it.
Clarification. These are part of a season of Gaiden. There's 2 seasons of Gaiden, so this is technically episode 24 of the season of Gaiden that it's in. Second, they do blink. If you remember, my reaction was all about them blinking and not blinking, and they do blink.
Barely.
They blink in the long shots, not so much in the up-close shots.
You know that.
Well, as I said, some of my notes go back 6 episodes because I didn't have any notes about those episodes. I don't think you did either. So
no.
In the Battle of Van Fleet Star Zone, Lundberg did deflect some of the animosity towards Reinhardt, but by assuming authority of decision-making over his commander, when Grimmelhausen persisted in asking for his opinion on things. While this benefited Reinhardt, there was also Lundberg acting in his own self-interest in order to seek advancement, rather than the possibility of Reinhardt advancing. This, of course, only angers Reinhardt when Lundberg says that if he gets promoted, he'd like Reinhardt to work for him.
I mean, that's a current theme throughout even my notes when I talk about Lundberg. It's like, it's all about his advancement, his aggrandizement. Which then there's also, well, I didn't write a note about it, but the fact that he left the Empire to go with the Alliance so he could get advancement through there. And then when he saw an opportunity, went back to the Empire. And of course, now, he married into power, right? The whole Golden Bond last name of his father, which is also pretty interesting.
That's what? No. That last thing you just said was completely no. There's a rumor that he might be of the bloodline. You're saying the Golden Bond father, and it's like, well, no, that's not true. Also, it's not true because it's still a rumor that even like 3 different nobles have been like, that's probably not true. That's something that they think he might have made up himself.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that you said it as fact, and it's like his father wasn't a Golden Bomb. He married into another family by killing,
Yeah.
So it's more likely that he, being a member of both factions, if you will, kind of orchestrated his own rise in the Empire by killing the love of Elizabeth, who herself was already the daughter of a count, and then marrying her in the opening he himself created.
Yeah, but I think it was I think someone else sent this guy into the front lines because they didn't want to get married, and he saw the opportunity and took it.
That's what I just said.
Instead of created the fact that this guy got sent into.
He created his own opportunity because Lundberg was the head of the Rosenritter back when he was a member of the Free Plants Alliance. So he killed this guy who he was aware of, and then took the opportunity to desert back to the Empire, and then fill the opportunity.
Which, it's interesting because the fact that he deserted once and then deserted back shouldn't put him in a worse position. People shouldn't be so trustful of him. I mean, people know that he's ambitious, but it's like, this guy, jumps back and forth between the two sides. I wouldn't trust him with anything, really. Especially when he marries into the family of the leader of the secret police of all people. I guess that would deflect quite a bit of.
He's not the secret police, he's the actual police.
Yeah. Either way, deflects some of that, but not too much. Okay, to my next note then.
No, I think that was your note.
No, that was your note. Remember,
no,
you went back.
Was it?
No.
Okay, well, I was talking about,
because he went back all the way back to the battle, and I haven't touched it.
It's just that I was responding to your comment about my comment, but your comment about my comment went so far astray of what my comment was about that it felt like an entirely new comment, which is why I was thrown off.
Meanwhile, Nuremberg overplayed his hand while his wife had a nervous breakdown. I don't know if she faked it. It didn't look like that to me, but leave it to Nuremberg to blame her nonetheless. He also didn't come off as brave as he was back on the battlefield. I guess he cares more about his position than his personal safety, or simply so egotistical that he got caught off guard. Socially, he can really handle it. How about the scene when he's
I know what you're talking about when he's Overlusser. So meeting Overlusser, and she passes out in his meeting room.
And then when he sort of puts it for her, he's like, oh,
No, I know. It's just I don't really have much commentary about that because it's just different battlefields, really.
Yeah.
Also, Overlusser is in control of the position that he's only good at, so.
Yeah. And also, he's pretty big as well. He has a size advantage over him, size and weight, so.
It's kind of funny the lens through which the Von Fleet Star Zone conflict is viewed vis-a-vis the ground battle, where we have Walter being waylaid by a commanding officer that is ill-suited for their command and trying to hold him back, yet seems to disregard a lot of it to do what needs to be done. And Reinhardt, who is being waylaid by a commanding officer who he thinks is ill-suited for their command, and another that is attempting to hold him back, all the while obeying orders and staying in his place. It's certainly not the expectation you'd have for our point of view characters versus what the new character is doing.
I mean, yeah, it also might be a commentary on the systems of where they come from. Like in the Empire, straying too far from orders is not acceptable, right? While the Alliance might be a little more flexible, if you can get away with it, of course. Right? That might be just
looking at it from a narrative perspective. Two characters who are essentially in the same position, and the one that you'd expect is going to rise through the ranks is the one who's just staying in his lane.
Yeah. My third note on episode 7. Reinhard and Kirchheis already talked about Lunenburg and his wife. So this wasn't the first time he heard about it, the rumor about how Lunenburg mistreated his wife. That and the fact that he felt sympathy for Lunenburg and not his wife, Elizabeth, is a strike against him. At least personally speaking.
I guess I'll jump ahead, because I know I have a note in the same line, considering we had a whole conversation about it during the reaction.
Yeah.
Reinhardt's statement didn't read to me as sympathy for Lundberg. It was feeling sorry for him. He gets told that Lady Lundberg was forced to marry against her wishes due to her fiancé's death and implies that she didn't love Lundberg. and he feels sorry for Lundberg for becoming a husband in that circumstance. While it can be read in different ways, considering how we know Reinhard thinks about Lundberg, I have to imagine it's a statement of pity. How sorry it is that this is the only way this man could find a wife. The narrator states that Reinhardt sympathizes with him, I guess for marrying not out of love because it reminds him of his sister, but then you'd think he'd side with Lady Lundberg for that exact reason. Unless he thinks Lundberg was forced into this marriage, which hasn't been expressed ever. I'd be more on the side of thinking that the narrator is just wrong.
Yeah. Not for the first time.
I also, funny note, was checking something out before. The narrator is also the same voice actor as Kirch's dad.
Oh. Precise, yeah. Let's see, where's the old man so I get his name right? Oh, okay. I guess you answered my note with a note, so I'll go to my next note then. Final note for this episode. The old man, Grimmelhausen, may not be a great tactician or strategist, but he knows people on the ways of the court, which is why the emperor keeps him around.
You're missing the S in his name.
Grimmelhausen?
No, you're not pronouncing the S.
Grimmelshausen.
Keep the old man's name out of your mouth. Yeah, no, I mean, that's his whole point. I'm incompetent. People trust me.
Your next note then. You probably have far more notes than I do.
I doubt it. Van Fleet 4-2 becomes a vacuum of action. Grimmelshausen's fleet launching a ground attack on the Alliance base leads to the Alliance calling in for backup from their fleet, which then led the Imperials following the movements of those reinforcements, which struck even more fleets to the planet, making it the focal point of the battle. Unfortunately, it also became utter chaos, rife with friendly fire and poor maneuvering, which caused many crashes.
Yep, not unheard of in actual battles. So call a meeting engagement, basically.
Also, you said I had this listed as episode 24. Not this one, the one that you started with. I do not.
Yeah.
The first episode that we watched was episode 19. I just realized that because I have my next note. It literally says, just a note, episode 19. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait a second, you said 24. We haven't watched 24 yet.
To my next note, to the next episode. Because I don't have that many notes.
Yeah, I haven't even started on the first one yet.
This is just 100 billion stars, 100 billion lights, 8. The Empire could be more German coded if it tried. And boy, do they try.
It's a weird note.
It's just a note of like that old thing about the Whitsun and the sauerkraut.
I got a note
and
about
else.
that, but I don't think that's German coded. But it's just the element. I guess this is just a product of coming back 5 months later. Like, just imagine that you're 45 episodes into a show where primarily you're following the Empire's character. Like, this is pretty German coded. 45 episodes in, you said.
Yeah.
It's a product of coming back 5 months later. That's why I'm just saying, that's a pretty weird note. I'm pretty sure you made that in the first episode. Just a note, episode 19 starts with giant text on the screen saying UC794 May, RC485 May, but the subtitles say March. Very confusing. I'm going to say that the subtitles are wrong as we left off the previous episode in May.
I agree. Made pretty clear on the screen, so that's not...
Like you said, you were saying it's pretty clear on the screen. It's not pretty clear on the screen. The subtitles say March, and the big text in the middle of the screen says May, so it's not clear. But the last episode ended in May, so I'm going to say the middle text is right. Well, if you have two contradictory things on the screen, then it's not clear. That's the definition of unclear. If I say meet me at 7:30, and then I send you a text that says meet me at 3, you're going to be, what the fuck? Note's unclear.
I mean that what was on screen. Now the subtitles was pretty clear. This is May. The subtitles are the ones that muddle the thing by saying that it's,
right, but the subtitles are part of it. Literally, entirety of what we know comes from the subtitles. You'd have a hell of a time trying to figure out this show based entirely on just the dates that appear on the screen, and then a language you don't understand.
The anime also doesn't waste any time showing us how tall Kirchheis is compared to everyone else. In fact, this episode could be titled, How Tall is Kirchheis?
Yeah. Yeah, I almost made a note about that. He's standing next to his mom and then his dad and then the bartender. So now here's where my notes finally catch up with yours. When you started, I mean. So Kirchheis talks to Reinhard about finding love, then almost stumbles when Reinhard asks how to find his counterpart. Which is funny because we know Kirchheis has a thing for Reinhard's sister, but is also obsessed with Reinhard himself. So it's interesting to figure out what the stumble was about.
Yeah. I mean, I think Reinhard knows that he has a thing for his sister. That's pretty given.
No,
But,
I'm talking about Kirchheis
yeah,
stumbles.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, oh yeah, how do I answer that question? It's like, and then he pulls up the glass, like, let me look at you through the glass. I'm like, okay, sure. That's yeah, that's a thing. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, my next point. What this episode gives us is a good look at the home front and how people live with a war that has lasted over 150 years. Like most people, they carry on the best way they can, but even they cannot escape the toll of this war.
I don't know. I'm addressing the element you say it's a good look at the home front, and I don't think it really is. Like Martin wasn't even really that good of a look at the home front. I think we've gotten better in regards to was it the Tuesday correspondence? When we were talking about what's his name? I wasn't even talking about Kristoff, but now Kristoff's coming to mind. He was a better look at, people in the war. But I was talking about like the first episode where we got confronted with the thought police.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've had much better looks, and we really didn't even address anything really war-related other than the neighbors and their 3 sons that all died 2 years apart.
But I mean, I think it's the contracts because back here, which is the imperial capital, everything, at least on the surface, looks normal. People going about their business, having big celebrations because it's a holiday, all of that. And yet, the presence of the war beyond the main characters who are also, of course, members of the Navy, right? Imperial Navy. It's like it's ever present, right? They go to his house. It's a retired officer, right, who now lives with his wife, and they're too old to keep up the house properly. So there's cobwebs and everything else. There's the 3 paintings of the wall, and then when he talks to his friend, I guess from the neighborhood, like, because I decided to study English, it's not seen as a worthy enough research subject, so I'm gonna have to join the military at 20.
I'm not saying it's not a cross-section of life. I'm just saying that I don't think it's like the best example of what life is like in this situation. Not for nothing, you also put it out there. This is Odin.
Someone else might be a little more.
Well, I've already given you like 2 examples of what I thought was a better cross-section. Hell, the guys in that one ship, the ship that Reinhardt took over with the mutiny. The guys in the lower decks talking about what life is like out back home and the expectations put upon them to then have to join the military because they can't take over the factory that the father owned. It's like, even that was a better cross-section than this is like Siegfried just randomly wandering through town. Because not for nothing, my takeaway on this is just that Siegfried doesn't see all that much. Oh, what are my parents up to? Oh, what the neighbors up to? Oh, what's that one guy who I haven't seen in 10 years up to? Or 8 years up to?
He is rebelling against the Empire and paying the price for it.
Well, in 6 months he will be anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Lundberg's attempt to manipulate Avlasser self-destructed, but now we know that Avlasser dislikes Reinhardt and Lundberg equally for whatever that comes down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it comes up as I live in this system. I have to tolerate the constant, bickering and backsliding. Just get it over with. And whoever survives, I'll deal with them,
Well, I think if you're looking at Avlasser for insight, it's the element that he doesn't like oblique tactics, is what he says. It's like, well, that's probably not great if you're a soldier.
Or a nobleman in this scenario as well. You know.
Well, I mean, more so from the fact that he is the commander of ground force operations, meaning that
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a full
Another
pylon
frontal assault.
straight at their front gate again.
Yeah, another frontal assault. Didn't we try that yesterday? Yes. The day before? Yes. Last week?
Though it's
All of last
Blackadder
week.
season 4. That we've
Yeah.
tried that 10 times in a row. It's the last thing they expect us to do this time.
Yeah. Good thing the war will be over by 1917. Well, in this case, 150 years later, I guess. Next note then. When we covered the Alliance side and their cuts to education, we said that the war had probably put undue pressure on their economy, but it seems that the Empire is also hard on for personnel if they would recruit lit majors to go into combat.
I do like that the only thing that's separating our notes is the fact that I came in with like a couple of episodes worth of extra notes. Because now you're just basically like 3 notes ahead of whatever I've gotten. I'll just read the closest thing I've got to this. The Martin situation. He says he'll have to join the army the year after next since he'll turn 20. The year after next has to mean 2 years, so that makes him 18. It also lets us know that the Empire has mandatory service, which I'm not sure if that has been covered before. So at age 20, Martin has to serve for at least 2 years. He tried for an exemption due to his studies, but was denied due to the useless nature of literature studies, according to the state. Which reminds me a lot of Yang's history studies and how the Alliance was defunding the classes.
Yep. Also, we would have a discussion on who was older or not, but now that you mentioned that it will be 2 years, then they're basically that he's the same age as Kirchhoff.
We have a comment. We have a comment that talks about some of this, and I have all of my timetables.
Yes, with my next comment then. And then we are reminded of the ever-present threat of the secret police and the horrors of the regime by the narrator. Like,
no,
I'm just gonna be dead.
I don't think it was a secret police. They were just raided by a police force.
Yeah.
I mean, they were an underground anti-war organization, which doesn't seem to imply anything, really. I mean, you can imagine them to be like, the anti-Vietnam groups that would march back in the day.
Yeah.
Or they could be more militant. You don't know.
I have another note later on about the anti-war or anti-war factions that get mentioned.
I guess the Empire is Christian, despite the lack of any Christian iconography that I can remember. As they mention Whitsunday, also known as the Pentecost, being a large celebration on Odin. I know they do also mention that it used to be a religious thing, but the fact that it descended from a religious thing kind of displays the roots.
Yeah. It could have changed its meaning of it.
Whitsunday is also known as Whitsun, as I pointed out, is also the Pentecost, which is 7 Sundays after Easter, I believe.
Yeah. I think. Well, I call it Whitsun, which is...
They call it Whitsunday. In the episode, they call it Whitsunday.
Yeah.
But it's also known as Whitsun, or, as I'll say for the 7th time now, the Pentecost.
I was a good little Catholic back in the day. I used to celebrate all those things. Not anymore.
I went to church only to go to McDonald's after.
No, I used to walk to church, so no McDonald's for me.
I got brought there by my grandparents, which was, again, the only reason I went, because they would bring us to McDonald's.
The old man, Grimmelchausen, sounds a bit like a pervert describing the beauty of the reinhards. Like, I can see the woman that you're chagging is beautiful because I saw her brother. I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. I guess he has an eye for beauty.
I mean, it's like somebody was complimenting your mother. Oh, your mother's a beautiful woman. I can see where you get your looks from. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. Doesn't bother me one way or the other. It doesn't seem like a pervert. He's just like, it is what it is, right? He's not going to change anything, but the fact she is, his quote is on, so whatever. Kirchhoff looks down at the table and sees that the tablecloth is still the same as the last time he saw it, which he says to himself was 8 years ago. That would make it 786. Using the Free Planets Alliance calendar for some reason. I should be using the Imperial calendar, but I didn't. That would make it 786 when he last saw it, which was the year Anna Rose was sold to the Kaiser. I could use that as a guess towards saying that they joined the military when Reinhardt was 10, but I still don't know how old Kerchase is.
I think they're supposed to be the same age.
I don't think they are. Only because of a commenter. Remember that they didn't, like, grow up to... I mean, they did technically grow up together, but Reinhardt moved in next door. So, They haven't been, like... They were both born at the same day, you know? Nothing... We have no real indication.
Interesting that the Emperor did not create a new noble family by merely elevating Reinhardt to a higher position, but instead leans on essentially having an existing family adopting him as their heir. Sounds like how adults could be adopted into Roman patrician families, thus expanding the individuals as well as the family standing. But I never heard of that being done by an outside force like the Emperor or the Kaiser in this case.
I mean, they basically say he basically says that when he's saying, "Are we going to be raising up Reinhardt in this way?" And so maybe I'll be raising that family up by putting Reinhardt in them. So
yeah, but it's an interesting choice because it's like, I mean, if
he's indicating that families are known for specific things. The Longhorns are known for being tactical military commanders. So putting him the Harry Potter houses all the way down.
No, but it's the thing is that if you, for example, usually what happens, at least in European peerage, is that if I give you a title and you're the first of the name, Count, Viscount, March, whatever, your descendants become the house of Theta, right? What he did was, there's a house of McCoy, and I want Theta to then become a noble by joining and becoming the heir of that existing house, right?
You understand that I know all of this, right?
Yeah.
I know you're explaining it to the audience, I assume. I know all of this because I've been rallying around it for the fact that he already got that title, or he already got put into that family in the movie, and it just hasn't happened yet. So I've been talking about this, I guess, technically, for over 5 months now.
Yeah. Well, I think going back to many of the things that the narrator has done in the series, I think that mention in that movie could be in the same vein. Like, this person is going to be dead in 2 years. Like, yeah, but we're not going to see that. But you're telling us that now.
So there's the thing, though, is when they say stuff like that, I'll typically go in, okay, they said this in 794, so I'll just make a note, 796, this person dies. So my calendar has that shit on it. The only thing here that would fit that is if in the movie, the narrator says, and then he was given the title, blah, 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 and I put down, okay, and this year he got the title. And it's like, no, I said he was given. Some future date, he was given. I didn't say it was this year. And I'd be like, you stupid son of a bitch.
That's the only explanation they can bring the two together.
Yeah, no, but that's like stupid devil's bargain shit, right? Like, I wish to be rich. You didn't say when. Like, fuck off.
You'll note that.
It does seem a bit odd how pleased Reinhardt was at finding out the news that the Kaiser was thinking of bestowing on him an aristocratic family name. While it would help his ambitions, it's also essentially a handout from the Kaiser, which is something we've avoided taking in the past. It's essentially no different than having Anna Rose ask him for a favor. It just feels like he would normally find it distasteful, but I guess in this instance, the benefits outweigh the displeasure.
I have a note about that as well. A bit hypocritical, I'm getting ahead a couple of notes, of Reinhardt to claim that Lunenburg is using his lineage to get ahead when he's happy to hear the rumor of the Emperor elevating him to a higher level of nobility. Yes, there is no evidence that his sister had a hand in this, but rumors do not care about facts. Sure, the narrator explains it as Reinhardt needing the position to achieve his ultimate goals, but still we know that he can be a little conceited from time to time.
I know, I have no add-on. We already did a whole back and forth about this during the episode, and I don't have anything to add.
Well, since I answered your note with my note, then it's your note then.
The nobility calling out the Kaiser for his choice to consider Reinhardt for the aristocratic title I'm pretty sure one of those guys was Lindenheim, who we haven't seen since the Duelist arc.
I didn't recognize any of the nobles, but it could have been, yeah.
Well, remember it's for people who consider the fact that sometimes I just have so much fewer notes than lessons. Remember that I also spend all that time gathering pictures and putting them on a board and doing all this line shit. So
I'm going to go back to the note I was going to read next because it's kind of still in the same vein. We're seeing more of Reinhard's weaknesses. The fact that while he claims he wishes to change the empire, he also enjoys the privileges accorded to him by the process. I imagine if he already come from an established peerage, he would be a very different character. No less brilliant as far as combat is concerned, but certainly not one seeking to overthrow the status quo. And yes, I know that his circumstances are special because his mother got killed by a random guy, and then his
mother got killed by a car.
Yeah.
Well, technically, his mother sacrificed herself to save him from getting hit by a car.
And then his sister gets sold to the emperor, so he has a personal beef.
That was literally my entire point about responding to your comment, was that your point was, well, if he had grown up differently, it's like, yeah. I mean, you're basically bringing up nature versus nurture. Is Reinhard the way he is because of his genetics, or is he the way he is because of the situations of his birth? And it's like, yeah, I think pointedly he would be different if he was raised differently. That is true.
Yeah, but I think even if those things had happened, but he had been like a family instead of been a Rittenhouse, it would have been a count or viscount, something like that. You know, would I be like, yeah, that's a shame.
I don't think it would have changed anything.
I don't think he would have gone to the point. You're saying
if he was in an elevated status, but the same stuff happened to him, things wouldn't happen the same way? I think they would have. I think one thing, court politics are so petty that they still would be arguing about some upstart kid getting all these promotions. So I don't think the opposition would change. I think the opposition would still be exactly the same. And I think the events of his life would still shape him in such a way that I still hate the Kaiser for buying my sister and all this other shit. I think it'd still be the same.
I don't think he would go so far as to, I need to dethrone the Kaiser and reform the empire. More like...
I disagree on that point too, because that point comes from the element of him seeing how other people are suffering. It's not from a point of view, this is what I had to go through. I already hate the Kaiser because he bought my sister. So that element, if that is a motivating factor for him, still exists. And otherwise, he's looking at the suffering of others and saying, this is a system that is downtrods so many people. So that position that he's in doesn't come from his own upbringing.
Well, to your next note then.
So Ludenberg is from the Golden Bomb family. So says the rumor circulating court. One of at least two rumors we've heard about why he defected back. I think obviously this could be the worst one for him. You'd have to think that if this one were true, he'd be trying to use it to climb his way up the ladder. But as we found out in a previous arc, being a genetic heir of the Golden Bombs can also be a death sentence if you happen to have any genetic disorders.
My next note, and I talk about, peace activists and all that. Interesting that Kirchheis mentions pacifists. But again, with a war that lasted well over a century and a half, someone besides those who would be fed to the slaughter would think it's high time to end it.
You just threw out the word pacifist, and pacifist isn't said during the episode.
It is.
It's the anti-war organization. It doesn't say pacifist organization.
No, when they are in the dueling practice, like they're talking about this and that, they're like, oh yeah, and basically,
sorry, now you're referring to an episode that must have been like 8 months ago, way past our 5 months ago.
No, they were in the open area. It's like, oh, this is talking about the fence. It's like, well, what's on the other side of the fence, whatever. But it was an open.
Oh, you mean the dueling area? Okay, sorry. I thought you meant the duelist arc. I mean, I still disagree with you, but I'm going to leave that to the commenters to say, oh no, they actually did say pacifist. I disagree with you because I don't remember the word pacifist being. I don't remember the word pacifist because I was actually thinking. Sorry, no, I wasn't thinking that during my note taking. I was thinking that during the beginning of our comment response because for some reason I was thinking back to Gundam Wing and the stupidity of absolute pacifism.
Yeah.
I do not remember them saying it, and for some reason I am just so against the idea that they would have said that in an episode where they brought up the anti-war organization because I do not believe. I, for some reason, believe that any anti-war organization that we're going to see on the Imperial side is going to be, ironically, militantly anti-war, and not a pacifist anti-war situation.
The way I see this is that because they were talking about the difference, essentially, the differences between nobles saying shit and the regular people saying shit, right? Which is not also consistent because you have had people who are nobles who also get prosecuted. But apparently, the difference is that the nobles can say whatever they want as long as they don't get caught doing something about it.
Yeah,
But
actionable stuff,
yeah.
because you can.
Well,
They imply that a noble can say the stuff in public and still be fine.
Yeah. Well, the public, normal people, if they get caught even thinking about it, off they go, right? Because I guess the idea is that you don't want this to spread among the population, among the common folk. The folk, it's more incendiary, right? So I believe that they might be members of the aristocracy who are like, yeah, we'll be fighting this war for a long time. Maybe we can look for some kind of accommodation with the rebels, right? That way, let them live at least for a little while, concentrate on our own problems, fix stuff here, and then, maybe make a push, right? Right. They're more middle. The pacifists are probably more middle of the road, right? But then they are the aristocracy. They can actually say those things as long as they don't act out on it, right? They don't go like, oh, we're going to give money to underground organizations to do stuff like that. They're fine. Although, and that's why Kirsten said, if the pacifists hear you saying that, they wouldn't be happy with you, right?
It's difficult to have an opinion on a thing I don't think exists.
Because he's commenting about the people.
You keep bringing up the pacifists, and I don't believe the pacifists exist. If you replace pacifists with a anti-war organization, which I do know exists, I would have an opinion maybe, but I don't believe the pacifists exist because I don't remember it being said. So, and I don't think it fits. As I said, I believe the anti-war organization is a militant organization, which is what got the crackdown on them. So, and also there's a big difference between saying we shouldn't be in this war and advocating for pacifism.
That might be a label that they get slapped on, critics of the war,
It's background information. It's background or it's future background information, considering the narrator tells us what happens in a certain amount of time. Well, the narrator implies that Hilda and Reinhard are going to have a romance at some point in the future, but that they won't meet for the first time for about 3 years. To be honest, I'm more interested in the suggestion that Magdalena was working on her own love life during those 3 years. I'd watch a spin-off just about her.
And my final note on that particular episode. As a final note, the power of privilege is very interesting. Nobles can criticize the emperor with little fear of reprisal, but we know acting is a different matter altogether. And that seems to extend to Reinhard himself. Yet we have an entire apparatus of state designed to destroy such thinking among the masses.
Because there's more of them. Gotta nip it in the bud.
Next point, then.
Is Herman poisoning Elizabeth? Is that how this is all going down? Either she's suffering from some pre-existing condition, stress is killing her, or Herman is trying to take her out of the picture so that he has a title with near to no family ties to be concerned of.
I mean, the problem with that is that her brother is the chief of police, right? It's like,
who doesn't really know what's going on with her.
Yeah, but if she dies suddenly at such a young age, he would have to investigate, right?
Except that she's been fainting and shit all over the place, and he knows that. Yeah. He was been at a party where that happened, and I guess he would have heard from Ovlister what happened at his place because, someone might have reported that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if he just makes it look like something over a long period of time, and then she just dies of an existing sickness that everyone just knows about, looks less suspicious.
Yeah.
And if Lundberg is the kind of guy who would find out who her fiancé is, go to the other side, murder him, and then come back to take up that position, would show a history of pre-planning that would be necessary for that kind of event to happen.
I don't think he went to the other side just to murder
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if you put all this together as some sort of like Scooby-Doo mystery,
Yeah. Although Reinhardt has a take on that. It's like, yeah, that's a too convenient story, but yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, characters can be wrong. I already said that I thought the narrator was wrong once.
My first note on the last episode 09, I like Magdalena. Magdalena is a cool character. I like her.
I've said that since the first time we met her, back in the Duelist.
Yeah. Yeah, but I always thought that she had an ulterior motive, and she may still have an ulterior motive,
No
but
way.
not one that's it.
Obviously, also no, because the narrator implies that in 3 years' time from now, she's also pretty cool.
Yeah, she's gonna hook up Hilda with.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I said she was awesome from the first time we saw her, and I kept saying I want to see more of this character. And now she's back for at least a little bit, and then I guess gonna have a whirlwind romance for the next 3 years, and then we come back again.
Go ahead.
I guess the party shows that Reinhardt is still a bit too headstrong to quite literally read a room. Ulrich creates a perfect saving face out from public disgrace, on top of being someone Reinhardt respected from past reports, and even still he gets mad at being forced to stand down from a private insult. No one knows what they're arguing about. It all happened in a room. And then they walk out to have a fight.
Yeah. Well, people came in and looked into the room like, what the hell's going on?
They're
It's
fucking
like,
nobodies.
Yeah, there could be other nobles.
They are other nobles. I'm saying they're fucking nobodies. You know how I know they're nobodies? We've never seen them before. Sorry, I'm turning into a 17-year-old apparently. Puberty's hitting. I hear my voice splitting. They're fucking nobodies!
Well, read my note about that.
No, you, Dad!
Uh,
I learned it
again,
from watching you!
Can I read my note, please? Thank you.
No!
Oh boy, this is going to be a long recording.
It already is.
Again, Reinhardt ego gets in the way when he finds it difficult to accept Kessler's way out of the predicament. Of course, Lunenburg will spin this to his favor, but he also risks getting into a public duel with Reinhardt, one that he may not win.
I think it's pretty clear he would.
I don't know. I mean, Reinhardt has also practiced and has been dueling before, so...
Right, but Lunenburg's expertise is in grand hand-to-hand fighting.
Combat.
Yeah, and not for nothing, he's an expertise he got both fighting Imperials and Alliance members. He was a ground combat commander on both sides of the war.
Yeah, but
you might think he's like a piece of shit asshole, but he's killing people on both sides. He's pretty good at this.
Yeah, but remember that dueling in the Empire has very specific set of rules.
Oh, no, this isn't dueling. They were going to go fisticuffs. That's why they were. That's why they're rolling up sleeves to get a fist fight out in the backyard.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Lunenburg is going to be the first one to go underhanded, and I think it's going to win him the fight too. And not for nothing, he's got stance, reach. The dude looks more built. That was his insults to Reinhardt. You're a waif. You're an iron. You're an ivory figurine. Like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Lunenburg would have won. I'm pretty sure Kessler saved Reinhardt.
No, but I'm talking about an actual, that if they continue this even with a fist fight, because they didn't have a fist fight and he continues to goad Reinhardt, it may actually lead to a duel, an actual duel.
Yeah, in which case Lunenburg doesn't have to fight in a duel.
Yeah, it's just a center
champion. You get a stand-in. We already found out all of it. We already went through the duelist. If Reinhardt decides to fight for himself and Kessler gets an actual, person who's not an assassin, because remember, the assassin fucked up because he was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
An actual person could probably, not an actual person, an actual duelist could probably beat Reinhardt in a duel.
Well, I answer your question, your comment with a comment, so it's your next.
Well, I'm actually on my final one here.
Uh-huh.
I think Eric is supposed to be a good guy type character, but his actions regarding Herman and Elizabeth kind of push him away from that. He advocated for his sister to marry Herman, but doesn't even know if she loves him, despite everyone else knowing that it's a loveless marriage. He's aware of the rumors of what goes on in their household. He puts his pride about his sister's... Sorry. I didn't read right. I should say before. He puts his pride before his sister's happiness and actively acknowledges that Herman is dangerous.
Yeah. And unlike when the narrator tells that he's the only person that Lunenburg fears. In that scenario, that was not the case, right? Unlike
Also,
when
he's
he was
apparently afraid
facing,
of Officer. So,
yeah.
again, narrated wrong.
Following the note on Magdalena, uh, this example how utterly stupid the Empire is, having well-educated and brilliant minds blocked from positions of authority merely due to their gender. Mind you, while we see women in uniform in the Alliance side, so far we haven't seen any high-ranking female officers or politicians. But they're there. So,
Well, also, there are
ostensibly,
no politicians.
I mean, there are no politicians in the Alliance. We see politicians.
When did I say the Alliance?
No, I was talking about the Alliance. To my next note, then, since you're done with your notes, I suppose, right? Or you have more?
I literally said that was my last note.
Double checking just in case. I misheard you.
That's it's impossible. Nobody mishears people. That's not a thing we do.
No, not at all. It would take over 4 years for Hilda and Reinhard to meet. The series really leans on the fact that it is a prequel to the main show. It says 1,000 days, which is 360. If we're keeping a standard,
That's 2.7 years. That's literally why I said 3 years.
Yeah.
Your 4 years is all way off.
Yeah.
Technically, we both lose Price is Right, but I still say I'm closer. Sorry, in the time it started you to take the assuming we're using the same years, was just the amount of time it took me to type into the calculator.
Funny how the narrative tells that Lunenburg is afraid of his brother-in-law, but he doesn't act like it, but he sure was terrified of the Admiral when he tried to suck up to him.
Yeah, something we already brought up.
Next point. And Grimmelshausen show who wields the real power in the Empire. He may appear as a military incompetent man, but when it comes to dealings with the court, he's sharper than most, which I already mentioned. And of course, we are shown how much of a fucking asshole Lunenburg really is, yet again, when he teases his wife about her dead fiance. Like, what about your dead fiance? I think I know something about that. But I'm going to tell you. She's like, son of a bitch.
Is that teasing?
Or like torturing her.
Yeah, I think it's closer to torture. I mean, it's clearly psychological torture.
Yeah, psychological torture. On top of the physical torture that we saw him.
Sorry, just one of those mental roads that my thoughts go down when it comes to like definitions of words. And it's like,
yeah, no, teasing is too soft a word for.
Well, it's just the element that teasing is sometimes, you can. Well, no, because chiding is the happier version of teasing, because you kids tease people. Kids tease other kids on like the playground, right? So teasing is not good, but it's like
more than just a tease.
This is much worse than teasing. Yeah, well, as per my note about, is he trying to stress her to death?
Those were my notes. Now on to the comment.
All right, we have Hump Your Rogue from the Patreon from 100 Billion Stars, 100 Billion Lights, Chapter 8. I think your notes are wrong. Kerchase is only like 18 or 19 here. Reinhardt and Kerchase are only like 20 or maybe 21 when the series starts. Spoiler. They just joined the academy very young. Maybe that's what got you tripped up. Obviously, since this is clearly regarding me as the only one with a calendar of notes. According to my notes, Reinhardt was born in 776. Again, I'm using the Alliance calendar. I don't fucking know why.
Well, we know that the Imperial calendar got changed because the Alliance kids using the old calendar.
Well, no. The Alliance uses its calendar, and then the Imperial side uses its calendar, the RC calendar.
Yeah,
but
in my calendar of notes,
my calendar of notes, I have the I have the Alliance calendar on the top, and the Imperial calendar on the bottom, which means that when I look at stuff, the first thing I see is the Alliance's calendar system. So when I take my notes, I just refer back to that. I'm not getting into an argument about the calendar system lessons. You can drop it now. I'm trying to keep it to the notes. Look, we already had this discussion way early on. This would be like you commenting about how Germanic the Empire is for some reason. It'd be weird. It'd be a weird thing to do, lessons.
Okay.
Reinhardt was born in 776. His mom dies when he is 4 in 780, which is, by the way, just an estimate on my part. I even wrote that in my calendar. His sister is sold when he is 10, so 786. He receives his first posting when he is 15, 791. Reinhardt's first posting and Siegfried's was at the same time, but I don't have any info from the show on how old Siegfried is yet. I believe my notes are right. I have nothing contradictory yet to say that they are wrong. And specifically, I also don't know what the comment is referring to that I got tripped up on.
The problem I have with that, I guess they just, because they joined.
Okay, just quick clarification. I had that Siegfried comment before about Martin, commenting about when it seemed like he must have joined the Academy, which was the same year that Anna Rose got sold, which would have been, I think, assume that Reinhardt joined the Academy when he was 10.
Which is weird, because when they went to the Academy, the kids were probably about the same age they were. They were much older than, say, 10 or 11. They were not dealing with like 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds. We never see any of those. So, yeah.
But that could have been the high school of the Academy.
I guess so.
There's no indication that, like, we've only seen school stuff in one arc.
Yeah. But then that also explains why I guess they were top of their class, and that's why they were sent at age 15 to the battlefield. Yeah.
Like I said, my calendar is based on the things that we saw, and I have it listed in the dates that were given. So if I can't explain why something would be wrong other than to say this is what it says. Because I'm also not like trying to create a narrative with my calendar.
Yeah.
I entered each individual thing as we saw it happen. Otherwise, Reinhardt being born 776 isn't a thing that we got told. That is, God, when did I put that down? 776, Reinhardt born, mentioned to be 15 in 791. So I just backtraced. When they told, anytime we ever find out how old a person is, that tends to be when I put they were born here. Like, Yang Wenli is technically older than Reinhardt because he was born 768.
Yeah, he went all the way to college, too.
Alex was older than Yang. He was born 762. Herman von Lundberg was born in 759. Technically, not that much older than Yang. Herman von Lundberg born says he is 35 in 794. Well, that is then all of the notes, board, and comment. So nothing left to do here but to hop on in.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
That was a bit too loud from my side. We will always say that.
Well, usually I have my TV turned to like a volume of 20, which is normally what I listen to stuff at. And I had it turned down to 10 for the start of this, and then I turned it down to 5. I am going to miss this opening. Not so much for the animation, but the song. And again, not for this part of the song, but for the end of the song.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to have a better beginning for the original series, which was in the 80s. So,
yeah, but this isn't that far away from that.
It's 1994, 95?
Yeah. Within 7 years, say.
Yeah.
This part. This is the part of the song that I like. But, I don't know. I just don't know. The fact that this is Gaiden and it's covering their childhoods, and the song is covering that too. But obviously, I've got nothing left to say, but I still have to continue talking over it.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much of a fan of this animation where it's clearly just them looping the upper torsos.
Yeah, well, the wind.
That's just their upper torsos, but they still animated see, it moves beneath their feet, which means it could be a separate part of the frame.
Probably. The rolling grass, I guess, on the wind. Yeah. Although I remember grass doesn't do that unless it's much taller, but yeah. Wow. I remember we talked about how
Hey, September 11th. Wonder what's gonna happen.
The fortress looks very
Iserlon.
different in the movie. Iserlon, yeah. Looks like a Death Star. Because it was.
それに備えるべく大兵力を動員したその一員としてである。聞いたか、キルヒアイス。反乱軍はまたイゼルローン要塞に求婚する。
Post it to it?
何度振られたら諦めがつくのだろうな。
Yeah, what a real boner move, right? I'm just assuming it's just terminology we just don't use in the same way anymore.
冗談だ、気にするな。気にしておりません。ラインハルト様の皮肉をいちいち気にしていたら、私は唐の昔に首を吊っていなくてはならないでしょう。キルヒアイスに甘えていると自覚したとき、ラインハルトはこういう態度になり、しばしば急に話題を変える。
Acting like a completely different kind of child.
Yeah.
この要塞があるために帝国も同盟も共に軍事的にも政治的にも選択肢を狭めてしまっている。それぞれの政治的な指導者たちの視野はイゼルローン回廊の幅しかないと見える。そうですね。毎年毎年この周辺で小競り合いを繰り返し、不毛な戦いが無限に続くだけになっていますから。その無限連鎖を
Not really the area you want to have a skirmish in.
それを実現するのは俺の他に誰がいるというのだ。すでにラインハルト様はその構想をお持ちですか。裏付けのない自負を抱いているわけではない。俺ならばイゼルローン要塞の存在など必要ないシステムを構築する。だが
He's just in command of 1,000 ships. Yeah, no biggie.
But I mean, also, we have the station, though. You don't need to create a thing that doesn't require it if it's here.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's a stalemate. That the Empire is out beyond the station and winning the...
Yeah, but it's a impenetrable line of which the Alliance can't get past. Why not keep that? Come up with a system that gets you into the Alliance. Stop dealing with Iserlon.
もし彼がラインハルト様のお邪魔になるようでしたら、私が何とかいたします。ラインハルト様は前方だけをご覧ください。そうだな、キルヒアイス。万事お前に任せる。
Yeah, like that old point we used to say about I'll guard your back, you keep looking forwards. And we keep talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, Ulrich. Who I didn't mention, but on the board I promoted him. He used to be commander when he was in the books, now he's a captain.
ああ、そうだったな。閣下はご創建か。
Well, he's dead.
グリンメルスハウゼン閣下はミューゼル閣下らがオーディンを侵発されたのと前後して夏風邪を引き込まれ、それをこじらせて肺炎にかかっておられまして。お悪いのか。リオがして以来急速に衰弱が進まれ、このままでは年を越せるかどうかだということです。
Quite.
Okay, so he's still alive at least.
Yeah.
の死者が使わされたそうです。それほど何分にもご高齢ですので、それに軍務の第一線を外された、いや、外れたことで気落ちも終わりでしょう。
No, he was removed. He didn't remove himself.
それはそれとしてケスラー、
I mean,
オーディンでは奇妙な形で世話になった。いえ、とんでもない。おかげで尊敬するリューネブルク少将に恥をかかせずに済んだ。礼を言っておこう。
Yeah,
oh, he
that's
gets
what
it.
happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to spin it in your favor.
聞き及びますところでは、今回閣下は分艦隊の一つを指揮なさるそうですな。前回の出征で私は100隻単位の艦隊を指揮した。今回は1000隻単位を指揮する。次の出征ではこれを1万隻にしたいものだ。
Sure. Every time you get deployed to Iserlon, your fleet size increases by 100-fold.
題は再鑑が認められるかどうかだ。ところで、K が高等参事官代理としてここまで来たの
Sorry,
は
tenfold.
どこまでも公のことか。
Yeah.
この国では工事と交換の指示とがしばしば区別をつけがたいものとなるようです。今回はその小さな例の一つでしょう。
確かにこれまで大きな例がいくつもあったな。それにしても K は何に関する真実を知っているのやら興味があるところだ。
Sorry, I completely misread that. He said truths. I heard youths.
Youths. Goddamn youths.
Well, my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
These youths. Oh, that's youths. Never mind.
召喚を派遣なさった方たちはそう考えておいてでしょう。召喚は忖度したのみです。いずれにしてもミューゼル閣下は深入りなさらない方がよろしいかと存じます。
Well, he's not in the police anymore, so it's not Eric that sent him.
No, it was Grimmunchausen who said himself.
一方、重惑星同盟軍は艦艇3万6900隻を動員して帝国軍の機戦を制し、10月半ばにはイゼルロン回廊の同盟側出入り口を訳して帝国軍の戦術
We get more gang? I think we saw a gang in the next time on.
Yeah.
今回の攻撃計画にあたり最も注目されるべき作戦案を提示したのは軍艦隊司令官の一人であるウィレム・ホーランド少将であった。
結局イゼルロン要塞の攻略法は手法であるトールハンマーを使用させない、あるいは無力化する、この2点に尽きるものと過去には思われておりました。ですが召喚はここに新たな一案を提出します。
ウィレム・ホーランド少将は間もなく32歳。
I like their uniforms better. I always said that.
No.
I like the Alliance uniform.
That's good because you're drawn in one.
無論トールハンマーによって応殺されるがごときは回避せねばなりませんが、トールハンマーの有効射程はこれまでの戦いによって判明しております。
I think the Empire's uniform is more like Zeon's uniforms from Universal Century. You can tell what the ranked person is by looking at their uniform. Yeah, this guy looks like a constant thruster. Thrust of that D line.
Yeah.
要塞の防衛線が手薄になったところで、回廊の危険中域ギリギリを迂回した我がミサイル艦部隊
A single?
要塞への直接攻撃
No, they said they used a plural. I mean, obviously that's a single in the thing there, but they said plural. I think that's supposed to be a fleet of missile cruisers.
Yeah.
Well, of course not. It's a dumb plan. What's the rest of the Imperial fleet supposed to be doing during that?
The idea is that they're going to lure them into this area. So
Yeah, but they've got
Hit them
more
down.
ships.
ところが結局この作戦が採用されたのさ。
なんでまた
So Alex and the other guy's name I can't remember.
知ってますよ。士官学校で俺たちの1年下の学年の首席だったやつでしょ。貧気なやつだったが、そうか早くも中佐殿か。
あったら敬礼しろよ少佐。そのフォーク中佐が同じような作戦を提案してきたんだ。ロボス元帥はフォークを高く評価していてね。
Once he gets done fighting Superman, Fleet Admiral Lobos.
作戦の中身ではなく提案者によって作戦の可否が決まるんですか。相変わらずだな。
だから普段から行いはよくしておけという教訓だ。で、駆逐艦の艦長がこんなところで油を売っていていいのか。
うちはスタッフが勤勉なんで、お飾りの艦長は暇なんですよ。そこでやはり暇そうな先
Well, don't lean against any walls. That's how you get a
というわけで。
job you don't want.
俺は暇じゃないぞ。セレブレッゼ中将が行方不明になったせいで、補給関係の仕事がみんな回ってきたんだから。
よーく存じております。
Why would that fucking matter?
食事にありつけるのもキャゼルの準将のおかげと三度陰ながら手を合わせていますよ。
He's saying he's got a harder time of more work to do because Cerebrase disappeared. Cerebrase got captured in the Von Fleet system. What does that have to do with this?
a logistic. You're talking about a logistics operation. Now he has to take over that. That's the problem.
Yeah, but he was in charge of a base in the Van Fleet system. 4-2.
A logistical base. Yeah.
Yeah, but this isn't here.
I know, but it used to be that that was where Glitch would run. Now they're legit to get transferred to the fleet and deal with it.
そりゃいいや、無駄な人死にが出なくて済む。
いや、我々は銀河帝国と戦っているのであって、イゼルロン要塞と戦っているのではないということです。要塞が建設された時、我々の祖父の世代は錯覚してしまったんです。帝国軍に勝利するためには、イゼルロン要塞を
Well, there's only 2 corridors into the Empire.
まあいずれにしても力ずくでイゼルロン要塞が落ちることはまずありえませんよ。
You said that before.
さて、それじゃ俺はこの辺で。
調子に乗って撃沈されるなよ。敵さんにはジョークは通じないぞ。
I just don't think it's a great thing that both sides are trying to downplay Arsalan.
そういえばグリーンヒル大将閣下のお嬢さんがこの6月に士官学校を自責で卒業なさったそうだ。
But that bitch that gave me coffee?
美人でもある。興味がないか。
ないわけじゃありませんが、どうせ私とは無縁の人ですからね。
おまけに上官の娘ときては鬱陶しさが先に立つというところか。ま、お前さんらしいな。そうそう、ユリアンはどうしてる？
元気ですよ。身長も少し伸びました。
同盟軍の目的がイゼルロン要塞の攻略である以上、陸戦要員が多数動員されるのは当然のことである。その中にローゼンリッター連隊が含まれるのも必然と言うべきであろう。
Okay, so we're gonna see these guys finally meet Yang.
正式にローゼンリッター連隊の第13代連隊長に叙せられた。バンフリート聖域海戦の後、敗戦の責任を問われ、連隊長代理のままに据え置かれていたのが、ようやく昇進を果たしたのであった。
ま、昇進の前渡しということで、今度は死んでも功績を立ててこいということですぜ、きっと。
もしかしたら全員戦死してこいということかもしれませんね。
リンツとブルームハルトもそれぞれ少佐と大尉に昇進している。
I mean, they were alive at the end of that, so wouldn't have believed or wouldn't have thought they would have died.
この戦いでデューネブルクとの決着をつける。ローゼンリッターは以前の指揮官たる奴を葬ることによってのみ新たな失敗。
Or you get killed in the process.
ですが、この広い戦場でどうやってリューネブルクを探し出しますか。まずそれが難題ですが。
俺たちがローゼンリッターここにありと実力で奴に知らせてやればいい。機会あるごとに帝国の存在を教えてやるのさ。ゴシックの血文字でな。
Probably should do it in Comic Sans. That'll make him more pissed.
God damn it. It's not my birthday party, you son of a bitch.
そうしなければ自分の名誉も地位も守れんのだから。
Ooh. When does this come out? Because Comic Sans is invented in 1994. 98? This could possibly be from 98, so Comic Sans does exist. That's a joke that does fly.
この程度は初歩の策謀だ。そしてだな、俺みたいな正直者には初歩が精一杯で。
He's good with an axe and with women. And the women got axed, so.
No, actually, she got shot.
You know.
So just those two guys playing cards. He's sitting there watching.
この年の10月から11月にかけて、イゼルロン回廊の
Yeah, the ship that exploded in puffs of smoke.
戦闘は50隻から3000隻ほどの単位で立方体に区切った数千の中域を一つ一つ争奪する形で展開した。ラインハルトも機下の艦隊を率いて20回以上も出撃し、あたかも狩猟でも楽しむかのようにその手腕を遺憾なく発揮していた。 だが戦績隊の艦隊の戦果は対局からすれば微々たるものであって、 帝国軍上層部ではそれほど評価してはいなかった。
No, we're not getting promoted this time.
同盟軍の方が無名の危険人物の手腕に気づかされたと言えるかもしれない。
あそこに河川を敷かれたら右側背を直撃されて全軍が瓦解していたところだった。危ないところだったな。
ノイエ算数師とやらのサロンで酒と女にうつつを抜かしている貴族の道楽息子にしてはよくやるじゃないか。
彼らが敵の正体を、その進化を知っていたら、これほど悠然と評価してはいられなかったであろう。11月6日、
You face Jaraxxus, Eridor, Lord of the Burning Legion.
軍艦隊がラインハルトの軍艦隊と遭遇した。
敵艦隊発見。数およそ1000。
敵は密集しています。両翼を広げて包囲殲滅するのが順当でしょう。
両翼を広げて敵を包囲せよ。
ワーツ軍艦隊の参謀
But yeah, always a great move. Spread out.
大佐は27歳。士官学校において10年に1人の逸材と言われた秀才である。
敵が
どうした。
I guess they're thinking 10 years is a generation.
ラインハルトはあえて
Typically, a generation is like 15.
敵の中央を突破してその中枢部を叩く作戦に出たので
So what is a generation across a star empire?
バカな。ありえん。こんな常識外れの。
Oh,
指揮官を失ったワーツ軍艦隊はラインハルトの軍艦隊に縦横に蹂躙され、かろうじて戦線を離脱できた艦はわずか300隻に満たないという惨状だった。続く11月14日、同盟軍キャボット少将の高速機動集団が高地を極めた側背攻撃の犠牲となって壊滅した。このようなことが短期間に度重なると同盟軍としても意識せざるを得ない。
I swear they're just like wanting to use words I've never heard before.
cognizant?
Well, I guess I've never seen it spelled that way.
おそらく対策は
グリーンヒル参謀長は自身は
It's like the
イゼルロン攻略計画に
narrator turned into that guy from In Living Color.
小賢しい敵への対処を
yeah.
任せようと考えた。グリーンヒル大将は無駄飯食いのヤンこと
Good for nothing, Yang. Okay.
資料を渡して対策
Hey man, it's your guy.
を命じた。6年前、ヤンがエルファシル政権から非戦
エルファシル
闘員を大量に脱出させて英雄扱いされたことを参謀長は記憶していたのである。他の高級幕僚た
It's a shame he's done fuck all since then.
ヤンの実像を見るにつけ、その記憶を無視しようとする傾向があった。丸1日後、ヤンは一つの作戦案をグリーンヒルに提出した。
よかろう。この作戦を採用する。
はあ、一つお願いがあります。
言ってみたまえ。
この作戦案はグリーンヒル閣下のご発案ということにしていただけませんか。
しかしそれでは君が作戦発案に果たした役割を無視することになる。
Also, if it all goes south, you take the fall for it too.
いえ、私の作戦案だということがわかると各部隊があまり真剣に動いてくれないでしょう。参謀長閣下のご指示ということであればきちんと動くでしょうから。それと僭越ではありますが、兵力を出し惜しみなさって大義を逃すことが
What the hell was that?
幸いです。どうかよろしく。
I thought he was saluting because he went like that, but he was like way out here. It's like, someday I'd like a Toblerone this tall. Like, what are you doing?
この日、ラインハルトは同盟軍の一角に先制攻撃をかけ、引きずり出した敵を後退しつつさらに叩き、突出する敵の左右を逆進して背面に展開し、後方からの砲火で撃滅するという極めて実行困難な作戦を試していた。実のところ、ここまでの戦闘はすべてこのような艦隊運動と陣形展開の理論を実戦で試して
I mean, yeah, it seems like it would be a stupid move, really. I guess you're hoping they don't fire back because you'll be firing in the direction of their own ships.
あの艦は誰が指揮している？艦長はフリッツ・ヨゼフ・ビッテンフェルト。
Benfield.
衝突猛進に見えるが、実にいいタイミングでいいポイントをつく。落ち着いたら会ってみたいものだ。いくつだ？リストでは27歳となっていますが。
Sometimes you take these out of context, just like,
yeah.
I'd like to see him after. How old is he?
敵の背面での展開を終えた瞬間だった。上下と後方から同盟軍の新手が殺到してきたのである。互いに名を知る由もなかったが、 ラインハルトの作戦がヤンに見抜かれていたのである。ヤンはいわゆる小賢しい敵があらゆる戦術パターンを試していることを察し、次に試されるのが側面逆進、背面展開であろうと予測したのである。さらに
They really thought of a way to try and shorten that name.
それに対応した1万隻にも及ぶ兵力配置まで示して作戦の実行をグリーンヒル大将に委ねたのであった。実際にはヤンが危惧したように同盟軍は兵力を出し惜しみ、完全な包囲網を形成するには至らなかった。そのためラインハルトの軍艦隊はかろうじて包囲網の一角を突破して脱出に成功したが、3割以上の被害を出してしまっていた。
これまでの被害はたった30隻だったのに。
ラインハルト様。
ああ、分かっているさ。敵も黙ってやられてばかりはいないということだな。いささか調子に乗りすぎたようだ。敵にも少しはやるやつがいる。
Yeah, smart guy too.
取り逃がしたか。
残念ながら。
まあよい。こだ
わしい
敵将の花柱さえへし折ればそれで十分だ。祭事にこだわってイゼルローン攻略の大目的を忘れてはならぬ。
Well, I guess, before they became Galactic Heroes, they were a smartass and a good for nothing.
こんなものだろうな。帝国軍を後退させたのだから良しとすべきだろうが、イゼルロン要塞の前まで我々を引き込むのが帝国軍の基本戦略だろうから、予定の行動なのだろうな、これも。
戦場はイゼルロン要塞に向けて移動しつつあった。それだけ見ると同盟軍が優勢に押しているようにも思えるが、ヤンが洞察した通り帝国軍にとっては予定の行動である。
Inflict casualties and then lure them in big work before.
It's just a macro version of the pull them back plan that he was already doing on a micro scale.
12月1日、自由惑星同盟軍はついにイゼルロン要塞の前面に全軍を展開させた。
敵艦隊トールハンマーの有効射程外 6.4 光秒の位置で進軍を停止。艦艇数
So 6.4 times the distance between Earth and the moon.
敵をトールハンマーの射程に引きずり込むのだ。
I mean, maybe they should have invested in more, like, missile weapons.
第6次イゼルロン要塞攻防戦。
Wow, the sixth battle.
砲撃開始。
殺戮と破壊の宴がついに幕を開けた。
Oh, great. So the
Truth
plan
is
is
the
not
daughter of
good.
time.
Yeah.
No, we have 2 more episodes in this arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see how that plan would be hard to do. The micro one, not the macro one. Because, you're pulling back and forcing them to come out from their front line, and then you go them past you, which puts you between them and their front line, which is a very bad place for you to be, and then you turn around and shoot them in the ass. But what's stopping the front line from shooting you in the ass, if not fear of shooting their own guys? And then I think we proved at the Van Fleet Star Zone over the planet 4-2 that legitimately they're just willing to do that. A lot of friendly fire happened at that fight, and they just did it. So,
I mean, also, here's the thing. You're risking losing command and control because your ships are split between the enemies and yours. So coordinating fire might not be the best way to do it.
I'm just saying that it seems like it's a bad position for your fleet to be in. The fleet, the Reinhardt's side. The one that's going in. Because again, you're going into the middle. You're surrounding yourself.
Yeah.
And nothing's really preventing them from turning around to shoot you in the face.
Or like what happened here, bring reinforcements and pin you between the forces you left behind and the new forces that came in. Now you're sandwiched between the two of them, which is what happened when,
I'm confused because that's what I've been talking about this the whole time.
I was saying that the front one turned around and shooting me in the ass, but the other one that came in afterwards. which is what Yang did.
同盟軍の総攻撃が始まった。その意図を見抜いたラインハルトはわずかの兵力を有効に使って大きな戦果を上げる。一方シェーンコップは混戦に乗じてリューネブルクを誘い出し、一騎打ちによって決着をつけようとするが、そんな中イゼルローンに一つの訃報が届いた。
Knowing how the story goes, I don't think Lunenburg is going to...
千国の星、千国の光第11話第6次イゼルローン攻防戦。男たちの野望が銀河をかける。
I have no idea.
I suspect that it's, you know...
This isn't a movie. This isn't like the movie guy where he just like went all, you know, I'm going to toss you over the cliff and then, oh no, you got me. It's like, this is a guy from the show. So unless he does something like overtly stupid, I don't think there's any reason why he couldn't show up in the main show.
I mean, Lunenburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then that means he doesn't die here then.
What's I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, well, when I do the notes, I'll have to make sure I get everything.
I don't know what that means in context.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
When I take my notes, I'll have to be sure I pay attention.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like to me, essentially. It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, really, I don't have a lot of notes to say right now about the episode. You have anything to add?
Well, I mean, Grimmelshausen is on the edge of death.
Yeah. Passing of the old guard.
I thought it was a weird math problem. Reinhardt lost a third of his fleet, and then he only commented about 30 ships.
No, he had been losing 30 ships before that, and then in this particular engagement, when Yang came in, he lost a third of his ships, so about 300.
Right, I'm saying, though, he lost a third of his ships, and then he only mentioned 30.
Yeah, because he was talking about the engagements before.
Yes, I understood that.
Yeah.
Okay,
30 is not
if
300.
I said, oh man, I lost half my money at the casino, and then I only told you about the $5 that I put into a slot machine earlier, wouldn't you think it's weird? You're not telling me how much money you lost. Telling me about something else.
Well, we know how much money, how many ships he had, so we know he lost about 300 ships.
But again, it's not the element of what we know. Again, if I tell you, oh man, I went to Vegas and lost half my money, and then only told you about the $5 I put into a slot machine.
Well, that means you only had 10.
No.
Yeah.
No.
If you lost
it's the same
money
thing. We just found out that Reinhardt lost a third of his ships, and then he only talked about 30. And your assumption is, oh, he only had 90 ships. No, he's talking about the 30 ships he lost earlier.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I went to Vegas, lost half my money, and then I told you about $5 I lost earlier in the day. And you're like, oh, you only had $10. No. I'm doing the same fucking weird thing that Reinhardt just did.
Okay, the way I would understand it is that you were saying, oh, up to that point, I was only losing $5, about $5 on the machine. But then later on, I lost half of my money. This is just a $5.
Yeah, it's a fucking weird thing to do. A weird thing to say it that way. It's very intentionally obtuse. And I'm pointing out that that's what Reinhardt did.
Well, there you have it.
That's what you would do if you didn't want command to know that you lost a lot of ships.
True.
How many ships did you lose? Well, I lost a third, but then it was at 30. I was like, I think you said a third, but I heard 30. Put 30 down as per the previous alliance side thing where they were talking about, we think we lost 1 million men. Like, what do you mean you think? Well, it doesn't matter. A million people died, right? It doesn't matter if it's 1,000,001.
Yeah. That's all I can say about the episode right now.
All right. Well, that said, then once again, I've been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions. And we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?